This video is going to be on acute blood loss. I have already drawn two tubes. One is not centrifuged and the other one is. And these tubes are representative of the entire blood volume in an animal. Once it's centrifuged, you can see that it's broken down into the plasma component, which contains water, electrolytes, and protein, a buffy coat, which contains white blood cells and platelets, and then the lower red blood cell component. Now I'm going to draw another tube at the bottom, and this tube is going to represent the entire blood volume of an animal that is going to undergo acute blood loss. So with acute blood loss, there is initially loss of equal proportions of water, protein, and red blood cells. So in that initial period, within 30 to 60 minutes of an acute blood loss, you do not appreciate anemia because we haven't filled back that volume with fluid yet. So after the 30 to 60 minutes of the acute blood loss, then there's redistribution of fluid from the extravascular space to the intravascular space, or you as the clinician could be giving the animal fluids. And it's not only until after the 30 to 60 minutes that you then appreciate an anemia with a decreased PCV, and you can appreciate a low total protein or hypoproteinemia. Also, the platelets may be consumed or utilized to stop the hemorrhagic event, so you may have a thrombocytopenia as well. Now, since the bone marrow hasn't had time to respond to the anemia yet, this is considered the pre-regenerative phase of anemia. Within 2 to 3 days of the onset of anemia, the bone marrow is undergoing hyperplasia. It just takes a while to get from rubroblasts all the way to polychromatophil and mature red blood cell. So you'll have a normal or low reticulocyte concentration during this period. After the 2 to 3 days, then you start seeing the regenerative response. So you'll start to see an increasing PCV, you'll start to see a reticulocytosis. Also, the body starts producing protein, so you might see an increase in the total protein concentration as well. There may or may not continue to be a thrombocytopenia depending on if the platelets are still being used to stop the bleeding. So that's it for acute blood loss. You have the various stages where you don't appreciate anemia, then you appreciate a pre-regenerative anemia, and then you see a traditional regenerative anemia that you would expect with acute blood loss.